Good morning. We are on our last verse in Proverbs chapter 20. So we're on verse 30. And this one, I didn't even want to do this one, but we're going to be faithful and press through. It says, blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings purge the inmost being. I'm going to tell you off rip what I thought. I pictured the scene from Color Purple when she was like, you told Hoppo to beat me? And I'm like, beating purge the inmost being. Well, I guess so, because somebody beat you up or beat you and abuse you. Yeah, pretty much I would see your inmost being jacked up. Like, literally, stress and trauma affecting your body and all kind of, cortisone, all kind of hormones going wrong, and then just fear and pain, and I would guess so. And then it was like, that sounds like some hood language, blows, like we throwing blows. Like, I was like when the kids back in the day used to play 30 seconds in the bathroom. Just if y'all don't know what that is, 30 seconds is the kids act like they had to go to the bathroom and then would get in the bathroom and fight for 30 seconds because they knew they would get caught if they was going too long and then go back to class like did nothing happen. It's like, for real, y'all, like, is instruction that bad in class where y'all got to go whoop each other and then come, like, for real? But, in a way, they kind of knew what they was doing, because if they would have just fought outside, then, like, old school, you just fight till you get tired. These kids had it timed, so it wasn't too much finna happen in 30 seconds that they couldn't recover from. But, yeah, blows and wounds scrub away evil, and I'm like, so getting your butt whooped, scrub away evil. So like if you did something wrong and you get your butt whooped, then you ain't gonna do it no more. Come on, let's be frank, people. And don't worry, I am gonna go to the real commentary, so totally ignore me. I always warn you, do not interpret the Bible through your own experience. You read the Bible and then you interpret your experience through the Bible, through the truth. Because just because you went through some stuff don't mean that's what's supposed to be like. So with this one, I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I have flashbacks on this verse. Like, people telling me something, they whooping their kids in the tub with stitching cords. It's like, first of all, that's some weird, diabolical type stuff. You gonna wait till somebody get naked in the tub where they trying to get clean and then catch them off guard. You gonna whoop them with an extension cord. Like, what? Who thinks to do that? Like, you just gonna grab a random, like, cord or wire to inflict pain on your child for why? And I know older stories, people will be like, yeah, because they beat me with a... And you be like, so you know that was abuse, right? Like, no, like in real life. Like, I understand your grandmama, slap you in the face with tree limbs. And you like, well, it made me a better person. Did it? Did it? Did it? I ain't trying to be funny. And I'm not saying, this ain't no video about what type of way you discipline your kids and deal with people. But y'all, it's some boundaries where y'all know at some point your kid do something and then you like, okay, what was the response that you just had? Is you triggered off some past emotional hurt yourself? Because what you just did in response to that, for real? Like, how is that supposed to teach your child not to do that no more? Your child moving slow in the morning and finna be, late for their class. So you gonna cuss them out and throw something at their head. Huh? For real? Well, that's what my mom used to do to me. Okay, and how that, like Dr. Phil be like, and so how'd that work out for you? How's that, did that make, yeah, I know I got whoopings. Not a lot, but I was back at school where I remember my principal patted my butt, hands against the wall, big looking like he was in some type of fraternity, whop, holes in the thing, because I was talking too much in class. Imagine that, me being talkative. I don't know what I was talking about, but I went down there looking at him like, Mr. Maple, please don't, I know, this Miss Dixon tripping. I ain't say none of that, because you couldn't say that back when I was in school. So you just went down there and put your hands on the wall. He looked at me like, why are you here? I don't even think he hit me that hard, because I ain't never really get in trouble like that. But the point was, people at your school could, your principal, not our teachers, but our principal could whoop us. Whop, get that, and they call it paddling. Hit that, and I'm not that old, y'all. I ain't number 43. But I remember getting whooped, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Getting whoopings did not make me not do the stupid stuff I was doing to earn the whoopings, because I used to lie a lot. break stuff, lie about it. Who took, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I don't want to did that. I'd be like, I think mama did that. And I'd be, how you going to lie on your mama? Because you broke something and your daddy found it and you going to say your mama did it. And like, I didn't even have my lives organized. Like, that wasn't even structurally correct. I should have blamed somebody else that. But my sister was too little. She was a baby. So I'm like the only other person in the house. And that woman, I'm talking about that woman, that's my mama. So, needless to say, none of my lies ever worked. We even had tenants, and I remember breaking into their apartments because we shared a house with them just to get a lollipop. It was big, though, y'all. It was the real deal, like one of them kind at the carnival. Not saying I should have took it, just saying. But I mean, I got a whooping for that. And my mama was like, whooper. And my daddy was like, ah. And he whap. And I'm like, I'm sorry, please stop. Don't do it, Dad. Don't listen to her. And my mama looking like, this is some... Okay, because her hand was smaller than mine. She couldn't whoop nobody. Her little force, she couldn't aim right. She don't play sports. So it was just like, Mama, you don't. But the point was, none of that made me stop doing my behavior. What made me stop doing stupid stuff, to be honest, was when I realized I had hurt my parents and some of the stuff I was doing. Or that I had really set other people up to be hurt off of my actions. When I saw the girls look in their face, they was like, dang, you broke in there. You broke in to take a lollipop. We let you come over here and play. We're nice to you. And you would do that. You would go through our things. And I was like, that's what made me not want to steal no more. Or break in people's houses. Because I was like, ooh. It wasn't the whooping afterwards. It was the fact that they didn't trust me anymore. And they shouldn't have trusted me. And I hurt them. And it was just like, I didn't get that in the pre-stealing process. But I got it after they talked to me. And it was just like, Needless to say, I've never taken a lollipop when I wasn't supposed to since then. And it wasn't because of the whooping. But if we're going to be biblical, which is what we're supposed to be, for real, when I looked up this verse, I'm like, It says, and this is Gil's exposition, it says, the blueness of a wound cleanses away evil. Rubs it off and scours it away as the word. So then they want to make it liken unto the word. I don't know. Like I told y'all, this was a rough one for me because as the word signifies, or is a clearing and rubbing it off. Some men must be beaten black or blue, or must have sore correction before they can be reclaimed and reformed from their evil ways. Okay, y'all, I told y'all I'm struggling because I'm picturing people in slavery. I'm picturing people getting beaten and corrected when they ain't do nothing. But then I'm trying to narrow my mind as if this is talking about for people who did stuff that was just straight up wrong. For some people, you can't just tell them that was wrong. You shouldn't do that anymore. It's some people, that got to really go through before they get it. They got to go through. And this is talking about being physically boom. But I'll be honest, and I'm going to try to keep this PG. I do remember being in a relationship. After my divorce, I ain't have no business in. My uncle tried to tell me, Shan, that dude a crackhead. And I'm like, no. And I'm just being transparent because, see, keep in mind, I was raised pretty well in a sheltered life where, in my mind, and I'm not trying to be rude to nobody who used crack, but I'm going to use the phrase crackhead because that was the phrase my uncle used when he was trying to warn me. He's like, this dude a crackhead. My boy sell him crack. I know he a crackhead. And I'm like, I'm like, how you going to be a 200-pound crackhead? I'm like, crackheads are skinny. They got white lips. They unemployed. They roam around. Actually... You can be a functional crackhead. And I did not realize that. Once again, not talking about nobody on crack. I wouldn't advise you to get off. And I know I'm not one to speak because I've never used crack. But after being in a relationship with someone who was a crackhead, I started to see the crackish ways. And I was like, oh. And it clicked in my head when he was trying to choke me. And yeah, when I was airborne and got body slammed to the floor. And something was like, click, click, hey, Shan. Run. This ain't the... Actually, I played dead so he would leave because he thought I was dead, then he left. But I was like, wow. Okay. Had enough of this relationship. It's unfortunate it took for me to be airborne and then drop to the floor and then I had to fake dead so the person would leave so they wouldn't kill me to realize, I should not have been in an immoral relationship. Boom. I couldn't just listen to the Bible that just say, sit your butt down and don't walk in immorality. Nah, Shan. She's going to do her. But it took for me to get, like he said, them bruises. So I'm not saying, this is not advocating beat your kids. This is not what that verse is saying at all. But for me, this verse gave that moment of like, man, Shan, there's been some times where the Lord tried to tell you, don't do that. Hey, quit. Stop. The Bible tried to tell me. My family tried to tell me. You know what? Sometimes when everybody around you like, hey, don't proceed. Don't go. Stop. Get out. Run. And you be like, I'm grown. And then you do you. And then the consequences of what happened when you did you be so out cold that some you just wake up to yourself. Like in the story of the prodigal son. He's sitting there eating hog's mess. And he's just like, I'd rather be a servant in my daddy's house and be out in these streets like this. Man, I know I messed up, but I can't just keep this path going. You are. That's what this verse, and I'm not saying that's what this verse means. Once again, please read it for yourself and look it up, because I could really be missing the ball on this one. I'm saying this is what it made me think of. That, man, okay, God, I've been through some stuff where I was so hard-headed. It took for me to get hard correction. And it wasn't, physical correction or physical, just like, man, Lord. But then it was just like, it also pierced the inside of me, like, okay, Shan, for real. Like, this how we living? This what we gonna do? Like, I know you heard off some other experiences. I know you bitter and you battered and you tripping, but you about to get yourself killed. Ain't no coming back from killed. And it was just like, right. So I'm not trying to make light of this, but I'm just telling y'all, this is one of them examples of, man, you better read a verse in the full context of everything you read and not just take it for what you feeling with it, but really look it up. One thing about this verse in the commentary that did stick out to me, it says, and they compared it to actually a part of Job. It says, so do the stripes of the inward body, the harden your conscience by means of corrections and chastisement. Men are brought to an inward sense of sin. So I knew I was wrong, right? They are shown their transgressions, wherewith they have exceeded. So I knew that I was just out of bounds. And they are commanded to return from iniquity. So God gave me that opportunity, like, okay, you done? I know I got another video that's called, you done yet? It's like, okay, you done did you done? Or you gonna keep doing you? You gonna call on me, but keep doing you. And then wonder why you keep hitting your head, why you keep getting beat up. You have relationships with people who fight, you're gonna get fought. You in relationships with people who drink and smoke drugs, and you think they about to make a logical decision on your behalf? Not gonna happen. It may happen every blue moon just to keep you around long enough to continually abuse your butt. Remember, and that's a whole nother separate topic, because I don't know if I'm talking about the Lord or abuse, but I know God will provide a way from it all. It says, by his stripes, we are healed. So I'm thankful that even though this verse was talking about, and I'm going to go back up to make sure I ain't too far off, this verse was talking about, read the verse and where it go. Sometimes when you get in the commentary, you lose the verse. Blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings purge the inmost being. I'm thankful that Jesus was able to get beat on my behalf so that I can have a relationship with him and not be stuck here and stuck in myself with my ways, but that I could acknowledge him and let him direct my path. So I'm thankful for all the paths that I went on, that I was just like, then sometimes it took hard correction, and sometimes I just actually listened to the Bible. So ding, 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 warning, if you can be the one, we all children of God, if you can be the child who just listened from instruction instead of having to go through it, be that one. Because there's a lot of people who have been through stuff, and yes, they've made it through, but man, the consequences of what's be stuck on you and you got to still deal with, because you did you, them consequences don't get erased just because God's grace and mercy is over you. It's some stuff you still going to have to deal with. That's just real life Christianity, okay? When you get saved, you give your life to Christ, and you have a chance at new life. You become a new creature, and he'll give you a new heart. And that new heart going to have to be needed to deal with some of the past situations you put your butt in. So if you can avoid sin and selfishness and all that crazy stuff that the Bible tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Why? It ain't fun. It ain't. It's even in the moment. Trust me. The wages of sin is to jack you up. And you may not, like Eve, die immediately off your sin, but the stuff that plants in your heart that you got to spend the next 10, 20, 30 years dealing with. Okay. So that was my verse. It's 15 minutes. I'm be quiet. I love you. Dear Heavenly Father, help us to do your will and not our own. Amen. Keep that one short.